I think the recording has already started. Fantastic. So, good morning and good evening to everyone. I am Rakesh, uh, your co-host for today, because we have two other hosts. That would be Rotarian Vachan, who's also the Director for International Services in 3192. And we also have Rotarian Gomati, who's also going to be hosting today. And she's also operating the Zoom. So if you have any questions with Zoom, you can ask her. Otherwise, welcome all of you. This is the third in its series of the AllRag events or webinars that we are conducting. And the purpose of this is for all of us to understand what each of these rags do. There have been a lot of our teams in each of these rags painfully toiling, and unfortunately, none of us know exactly what they do and what they stand for. So the best thing to do at this point, or the least that we could do, is at least know them and thank them for the good things that they've done uh, to this planet. And as part of Rotarians, we all need to share, I would say, their burden as well, because one mind, one soul. So coming back, so today uh, uh, we have three speakers. That is PTG Carl, who is also the president and chairman of RAGSED Global. And then we have the past chair and president of RAGSED Global, that is uh, Margaret Williamson. And we also have Wally Gardner, who's the Carter member from Rotary International, and who is also a very active part of RAGSED, I would say. And he supports RAGSED in various projects. He is an encyclopedia, let me tell you that. So, so over to Gomati. Gomati, you can start with your introductions, and you can have the speakers lined up in the order that I mentioned. And then at the end, we'll have a short time for all of you to ask questions to the speakers. So do, instead of directly asking the speakers, I would suggest you put down your questions on the chat box. And what we would do is we would take notes of this, and we'll ask it to the speaker that you wanted that to be asked. So you can just keep, you'll have an eye on it, and you can just keep putting your questions. We may not ask all the questions, be sensitive to the time, but we would ask the important questions. At least the top five important questions would be asked. And then we'll close the session. And thank you again, one and all, for joining. You all have a nice webinar.
Thank you, Rakesh. So I welcome once again everyone to the All Rags webinar series. So this is our third webinar, and today we are focusing on the Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development. So just give me a minute. I'm just going to share my screen, and then I'll start my introduction to our first speaker. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So our first speaker is PDG Carl Schuleven. He has been a Rotarian since 1991, first as a member of Crescent Rotary, and since 2006 as a member of the Rotary Club of St. Petersburg, Florida. He served as the governor of District 6950 in 2011-12, and as District Rotary Foundation Future Vision Chairman in 2012-13. District Rotary Foundation Chairman for 2013-16, and as the Zone 34 Major Gifts Advisor during 2015-18. He and his wife, Leena, have participated in multiple polio immunization efforts in India, Pakistan, and Nigeria. Carl is presently the chairman of the board of directors of the Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development and part of the Rotary Foundation's Major Gifts Initiative. Carl is the recipient of Rotary Service Above Self Award, the Citation for Meritorious Service, the Distinguished Service Award, and was the Rotarian of the Year for District 6950 in 2009-10. He is also the Vice Chair of Smile Asia, a federation of cleft lip and palate charities based in Singapore. Carl is head of Westlake Ventures, which invests in development stage businesses, and chairman of EM Labels, a specialty printing business in Mexico. He has a BA from Rice University and an MBA from Dartmouth College. Previously, he was a CPA in Texas and North Carolina. So I would like to welcome PDG Carl Treleaven. Is he here today? Okay. So PDG Carl did inform that there's going to be a delay in his flight. So he has recorded a video for us, which I'm going to share with you. So I'm going to share my screen once again.
I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Sundareshwar sir, the president of Rotary Bangalore Yelahanka, the host club, and the home club of both my Gomatis and mine. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Rakesh Babu, sir. It's my pleasure to be part of this program. It's my responsibility also.
Good
so
evening,
nice to
sir.
organize this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That I'm glad you could make it.
Good evening, Gomti madam. Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
No, it's my responsibility. It's my responsibility.
Thank you, sir. So I'll go ahead and share my screen, Rakesh.
Thank you.
And we also have Dr. Radhakrishna. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, good morning, Rakesh. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you
be here.
PMR, sir. Good evening. Glad you could make it.
Good evening, Govind.
Namaskara, PMR, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Namaskara, Sundaresh.
Namaskara, sir. Namaskara.
Let's start.
So here's the recording from our president, RACSIP president, Carl Treleaven. Just a moment. Can you all hear the recording?
No, we can't
No
hear the
sound.
audio.
No. Okay, just a minute.
Did you press optimize sound on the left, Gamathi? Press all the blue buttons at the bottom.
We do have an option to
change it, Gamathi, you have to come out, you have to stop sharing, take it away, and go back in again.
Just a minute. Yeah, there is an option here. Okay. Okay, can y'all hear the screen now? Can y'all hear?
Hello, and welcome to this
we can hear.
presentation on the Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development. My name is Carl Treelevin. I am a past district governor from the Rotary Club of St. Petersburg, Florida in the USA. And for this year and next, I am the chair and president of the Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development. And I'd like to share with you my screen and present to you something about RAGSED. And I'd like to begin really with the start of Rotary, because it has an important role to explain what Rotary Action Groups are and why they're important to all of us. I like to refer to it as the genius of Paul Harris, because Harris, along with his associates, came up with a really revolutionary idea that has powered Rotary for more than 100 years. And the idea was to take a person's vocation and use that as a basis to serve one another and to serve the community as a whole. And out of that, though they didn't call it at the time, they created a network. And the Rotary Club was a network of people with all different types of professions who came together, use that network and their own vocational skills, both to help each other and also to be able to do things in the community. And that concept has worked extremely well, especially in local communities. And Rotary clubs all over the world do it every single day. The challenge, though, is when you try to take that idea and apply it beyond the local level, especially when you want to do some type of an international project. Because while we each in our Rotary clubs have lots of local connections, it's more challenging to be able to come up with those kind of connections on an international basis. After all, we don't all know people all over the world. That's where Rotary action groups can actually be very, very helpful. Now, there are about 25 different action groups covering all of the Rotary Foundation's areas of focus, plus a number of other things. What I want to talk to you today is about RAGSED, the Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development, because we are the specialists in economic development and can help Rotarians such as yourself, wherever you might happen to be in the world, to do this type of work more effectively. As we say, we're a source of knowledge and expertise that helps Rotarians plan, implement, and manage impactful and sustainable economic development projects that create lasting change in poor and underserved communities. I like to think of us as Rotary's worldwide help desk for community economic development projects. Now, there's a good chance in your life you've had to deal with a help desk of some sort. And the purpose of that help desk, of course, was to assist you to solve whatever your problem might be. RAGSED is precisely that when it comes to economic development projects for Rotarians and Rotaractors everywhere in the world. Our goal, as we say, is to connect you with the right resources to help ensure a more effective community economic development project. Now, RAGSED began focused on microfinance. In fact, originally our name was the Rotary Action Group for Microfinance. And oftentimes today, when we mention it, the first thing people think of is microfinance. Well, we still do microfinance, but we actually do many, many more things. And in fact, the chart that I'm showing you here shows how spending has been done by the foundation in this area over the past 10 years. And you'll notice that microfinance is actually only the 5th most common category. The thing we're doing more than anything else right now is vocational training. We're also doing a lot in agricultural development, we've provided a number of global grant scholarships, small enterprise development, community youth leadership development, something called Adopt a Village, and a number of other things. So you can see the range of the work that RAGSET is involved with is pretty broad. And chances are there are projects like that in your own particular community. This chart shows where projects have been done around the world. As you'll notice, over the last 10 years, we've done the most in Asia, and followed by the Americas, and then Africa, and then also Middle East, Oceania, India, and in Europe. So we're work all over the world. And here is the same spending divided up by type. The vast majority of the projects that we've been done are humanitarian, but as I mentioned before, we've also had a number of global grant scholars. We've also had some vocational training teams and some cases where we combined humanitarian and vocational training team projects. So what kind of things can RAGSET do to help you and your club? Well, the chart shows the range of things we do. We can provide you expert advice. We can help you do a needs assessment, which is obviously a very critical part of any Rotary Foundation global grant. We can help you find project partners, especially if you've identified what you believe is a really good project in your area. We can help you find. You're thinking about things, we can provide you some case studies. We also can help you identify funding sources. We can do training and education. We can share best practices for you, help you with community outreach. And finally, when your project is completed, to help you with project evaluation. So we can do a whole range of different activities here to help you as part of your economic development project. So let's take a look at some of the projects that have been done over the past few years. The first one is a combination economic development and an agricultural development project that was done in Bosnia and Herzegovina in Europe. And in this case, it was a project to help a group of women develop a business growing and selling sun-dried tomatoes, a very effective project. Another project, this one was done in the western part of the United States, had to do with microfinance. And in this case, microfinance loans were provided to a number of low-income beneficiaries, principally women who had started businesses and were looking to grow them. And as you can see, the target population were low-income Hispanic women living in the area, which is north of Los Angeles. The total project was $240,000, and it was a combined effort of 11 different Rotary districts in California. The project has been very successful and continues to this day. Here's an example of one of the people in it, a woman named Reina Chavez. She had started a small business for medical scrubs and obtained a loan. She's been so successful that she has gone from selling these out of her home to having now 3 different stores where she sells her product. And she's continuing to expand from there. So very, very successful. And then we move to Honduras in Central America. In this case, a woman who had a tortilla shop. She's making tortillas, as you can see there, and she obtained a loan to be able to purchase the oven that you're looking at there. The business has become more successful than it was, thanks to the loan. And here are a number, in the case of Africa, a project in Uganda. And in this case, it's a combination project It involved village savings groups and also some agricultural training and microcredit loans. And as you can see here, the project provided funding to 120 different groups with a combined membership of about 3,500 in the program. They have been very successful with it. So you can see a whole range of different projects that are out here. This is another one showing some of them. One project involving solar lights, as we mentioned, some agricultural products, programs to train entrepreneurs in their businesses, some for providing microfinance, and then something called Adopt a Village. So these are some, but not all of the range of different activities done by RAGSED. You can make a difference in this. And if you and members of your Rotary or Rotaract Club are interested in economic development in your particular community, we believe we can help you. And in particular, we can help you by sharing our knowledge and the experience. And you can learn much as a member through our newsletter, going to our website, participating in various webinars. We normally have webinars every single month, and also through social media. And should you decide to want to do an economic development project in your community, or if you would simply like to start off by participating in someone else's project, we believe that we're the right people to be able to help you out. So as I said, Paul Harris and his associates truly came up with a genius level idea. The idea of taking a group of business and professional and community leaders, each with different expertise, bringing them together in a network to be able both to help one another and to solve community problems. And that, as we said, that has worked tremendously well in Rotary clubs throughout the world. But as you say, it's more challenging to be able to do the very same thing on an international basis, to be able to extend that network. But that's where the Rotary Action Groups in general, and RAGSED in particular, can help you out doing that very thing for economic development. So we are the Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development. To learn more about us, you can visit our website. You can visit us, our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram, or you can email us there. And you also may get in touch with me directly. Again, I'm Carl Treelevin, the president and chair of RAGSED this year and next, from the Rotary Club of St. Petersburg, Florida, USA. There's my email and my contact information. And I look forward to your participation in future events with us. Thank you very much for your time today.
Rakesh?
Yeah, thank you, Gomati. Okay, thank you, Carl. It felt like he was really here speaking. That was nice. And particularly the Oceana projects, I think that would kind of alert Neeraj. That's Neeraj, by the way, that was on the island of Fiji. We had a project on renewable energies, and it was like amazing. I'm sure that would bring delight to you, since that's close to your heart. Anyways, I'd like to also welcome and acknowledge Robin Steele and Neelam Bedi, who are cadre members from RI, that is Rotary International, and also Uliana, who's also a cadre member from Rotary International, who support RAGSED. Thank you very much.
Yes, the deputy
And
director.
I'd also like to
Got
I'd
it.
also like to acknowledge Rotarian Shankar Shastri. Thank you, sir, for joining in. And particularly Jim Lutet. In fact, Jim Lutet, Rotarian PDG, Jim Lutet was supposed to be speaking in today. He is a past president and chairman of RAGSID and also a past chair and president of the Rotary Action Group Council. And he was supposed to be speaking today, but because he's on his way traveling right now, he requested us to have his talk on another day. And as Carl said, that RAGSID has these webinars, but not a part of this series that we are right now in. But there is another series that we conduct on the 25th of every month. I would request all of you to be there. You will know more about RAGSID. And that's again a worldwide event. And there are amazing participants from various walks of life and various nationalities, Rotarians and RAGSID members who join in, and they contribute a lot. So you'll be able to see the actual action of community economic development there. And we bring in very interesting speakers. We had a speaker who spoke about the innovation, the social innovation called as solar years. So we're planning to bring him again, but not now, a little later, because we have speakers lined up for the entire year. So you can still join in, and if you want, you could also listen to the recording that's at our YouTube channel. That's a very, very interesting project that he is engaged in. Fine then, over to you, Gomati.
Thank you, Rakesh. So I'll go ahead and introduce our second speaker, Margaret Williamson. I'm just going to share my screen once again. Okay, so Margaret Williamson, just a minute, just to push this down a bit. Okay, so Margaret Thorpe Williamson is the executive CEO of Pro Literacy Detroit, a nonprofit organization established in 1984 to promote and implement literacy initiatives. She joined the Rotary Club of Detroit in District 6400 21 years ago. She currently serves as chair of Launch Detroit, created by Rotary District in 6400 in 2012 to support and develop entrepreneurs and small businesses in under-resourced communities in the Detroit region by providing access to business loans, business development services, and networking opportunities. Margaret served as Rotary District 6400 Assistant Governor Area 1, 2017 and 23. And is also the past president of the Detroit Club 2013-14. She is currently serving as the stewardship chair, District 6400 Foundation, and as the immediate past president of the Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development. In May 2022, Margaret was honored with the Rotary International Service Above Self Award. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our second speaker for today, Margaret Thorpe Williamson. Margaret?
Thank you, Gomati. Thank you so much, and good day to everyone. And I'd like to share my screen because this day I will be speaking about chapters, RAGSID chapters. And so let me share my screen so we can cover that. This gives a start, and the contact information for RAGSID is here. Next time. Okay. In the past year, there were 2 regional chapters chartered, one in India in District 3190, and in the Philippines in District 3820. Regional chapters play an important role in extending our support from RAGSID and engaging Rotarians in projects that impact their community economies. This is an overview of what I'm actually talking about when we speak of chapters. The Rotary Action Group, as Carl has laid out for you, for community economic development, is a source of knowledge and expertise. And we assist Rotarians as they plan, implement, and manage impactful and sustainable economic development projects. RACSET is governed by a board of directors who are responsible for building membership, engaging existing members, building partnerships, and coordinating RACSET chapters. Now, this is an explanation that gives you the structure of our chapters. Each chapter is semi-autonomous, but accountable to the RACSET board. They operate in compliance with Rotary International's mandate for Rotary Action Groups. Chapters are led by a chair, a vice chair, and the chairs report to the chapter coordinator on a regular basis. The vice chair attends each meeting with the chair and functions in the role of chair when the chair is unavailable. The specific goals include attracting new members to RACSET and encouraging existing members to renew their membership. Also, we want to facilitate the ability of members to coordinate local projects, to raise awareness of community economic development among members of the Rotary family, and to encourage the integration of community economic development in all chapter Rotary projects. Additional goals include promoting the benefits of joining RACSET, to initiate projects and grow them into focused initiatives, communicate outcomes of the chapter to other RACSET members and the general community, and to share best practices within the chapter for learning, adaptation, and potential partnerships. Also to provide technical assistance for designing RACSET projects by clubs and districts in the chapter. And importantly, to strengthen fellowship among RACSET chapter members. For RACSET chapters, the membership qualifications include anyone who is eligible to join RACSET is eligible to be a member of a chapter, provided that they live within the geographical boundaries of the chapter. Members of Rotary who live outside of that chapter boundary, but who are working in the area, could be chapter affiliates. They would have all the rights and responsibilities, but are not eligible to be chair or vice chair. RACSET membership committee will provide a list of members in the area served by the chapter and update the list of RACSET members quarterly as new members from the area join. Now, in each chapter, they're required to have a chair and a vice chair. Other officers or board members may be established by the chapter. In the initial founding of the chapter, the RACSET chapter coordinator, who is Jim Ludit, assists in the appointment of the chair and vice chair. Chapter will determine the term of the chair and the vice chair. Chapter chair, in cooperation with the vice chair, will do the following: encourage the RACSET members to participate in chapter activities, arrange for regular meetings and retain records of those meetings, encourage members to share community economic development projects with other members of the chapter, assist members to design and implement community economic development projects, and promote RACSET zone, district, and club levels. Also, we'd like to see the chapter really encourage membership and growth, and to identify opportunities for partnership with other RAGs and with non-Rotary community economic development organizations. Also, we'd like the chapter to report on a quarterly basis to our chapter coordinator, Jim Ludet. And also, they can request support from RAGSET, from our board and members as needed. We expect the chapter to schedule regular meetings to keep people engaged and to keep a record of those meetings. Chapter is responsible for its own budget and fundraising activities, and the leadership of the chapter should communicate with their members at least quarterly to keep them engaged. RAGSET will provide a web page on our website for each chapter to post information about its activities to keep us all informed. Now, RAGSET board will do the following. We'll assist in the creation of the chapter, train the chair and vice chair as needed, provide a list of RAGSET members in the area served by the chapter, support chapter training and events, provide the chapter with a web page, as I've mentioned, on the RAGSET website, and host meetings of the chairs and vice chairs to exchange information and lend support. Now, this is my contact information. You can reach me at launchglobaldetroit@gmail.com for any questions. And just to really conclude, we've created these chapters made up of Rotarians interested and skilled in community economic development, because it provides a team of experts who not only understand community economic development, but they speak the local language and understand the local culture and customs and regulations that impact this community economic development projects that they undertake in the region. So we have, as I mentioned, 2 chapters, and for any of you who are watching this, if you're not engaged in the chapter and you're interested in starting a chapter in your district, in your region, you can be in touch with me. But as I mentioned, Jim Ludet, who is here as well, is our primary point person on this initiative. And Jim, I know you're with us and you didn't know whether or not you'd join us today. So I'd like to give you a chance, if you have anything in addition to add to what I've spoken about, to please do so now.
Thank you very much, Margaret. I think you summed that up very eloquently, covered all the information. But basically, what we want to do, as Margaret mentioned, we do have several chapters already started, but we want to do this more globally. We want to go across the world, and it's very, from my perspective, and as well from RAGSET, it's very important to have our members on the ground. So when you have a club or a district, reach out for support. There are people on the ground that know that region more so than some of us, maybe in North America. I know I do a fair amount of traveling to a lot of countries, so I'm available to help, whether it's via Zoom or in person. But we really want to get members that are on the ground, that can provide the technical support that clubs and districts are looking for. So as Margaret said, if you're interested in getting more information, please reach out to Margaret or myself, and we'll see what we can do.
Thank you, Jim, and thank all of you for your attention. And we'll answer questions if we have time at the conclusion after the next presentation. And thank all of you.
Thank you very much, Margaret. Thanks very much, Jim, to pitch in. Well, I thought you were traveling. You seem to be Sitting. Okay.
No, I was traveling, but I had two Zoom calls to do. The first one started at 7:30 Eastern time, so I thought I would get myself located in a spot where I could do this properly.
Thank you very much, Jim. It was important that you pitched in, and
Thank you, Jim.
glad that you were able to make it. And it's time for the next speaker, Wally Gardner. I'll leave it to Gomati to introduce Wally.
Thank you. Share my screen. I think most of you have already met Wally because he was here 30 minutes before the main event, and we've already met him. We know how a great a person he is, but I'm going to officially introduce Wally Gardner. So he has served as the president of the Rotary Club of High River, Alberta, Canada. He holds degrees in education in Spanish, along with various technical certifications and awards. Previously, he held the position of CEO at Gardner Computer Consulting, Inc., and has extensively experience in technology-related fields, technical education, technical writing, magazine authorship, curriculum development, small business development, technical implementation strategy, conference speaker, and technology training. Presently, Wally serves as one of the Carter technical directors for RACSIT, that is Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development, and has actively participated in multiple microfinance and economic development projects over the past 15 years. As a Carter member, he has focused his efforts primarily in South and Central America, as well as Mexico, where he has reviewed and mentored projects in various areas of focus. Additionally, he has played a crucial role in developing new tools related to sustainability, measurement, and evaluation. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Wally Gardner, Rotary International Carter member. Over to you, Wally.
Good morning, all, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm Wally Gardner, and if technology works, we'll be sharing our screen here too. Ta-da! Every once in a while, eh? Okay, so let's get started. So I'm the past cadre technical officer, Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development. So that position is the liaison between the Rotary Foundation and RAGSET itself. But we also have other people working as cadre within the Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development as well. There's about 45 of them. And if you're a cadre member and would like to be a member of RAGSET, you can sign up, contact Gomati, and she'll hook you up with a special coupon that will get you a free membership. Yes. So there you go. That's how we got 45 cadre members, just like that. So that worked out really quite well. So as Gomati said, I spend most of my time in Latin America because my other language is Spanish. People sort of look at why this chicken is here. This chicken follows me around everywhere I go and wakes me up at, like, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm sure, he's not here this morning because, it's just not going to work for him. So let's see if we can make the next slide come up. Whoa, it's still working. So there's two parts to what I'm going to tell you today. The role of the cadre, so what a cadre person is and what they do, and how we do it within the Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development. So first of all, we'll start with the cadre. So the cadre is a group of technical experts and volunteers, and we have all kinds of different backgrounds, everything from solar engineers, some water guys, people who have worked in economic development projects around the world, people that work on global savings projects. But basically, we are here to give you advice and guidance on how to get a project started, etc., so we can have impactful projects. We're organized regionally. So in your region, in India or Southeast Asia, the person you'd like to talk to is Deepak Purohit, who's the cadre coordinator for that region. In South America, it's Viviana Santa Cruz, and we talk a lot. And Juliana Corredor that was just here was also in this doing this job as well, and she's working as the vice cadre technical officer to liaison with the Rotary Foundation, and also to help manage the 45 or so cadre members that we have working within RAGSED. So that's an important job as well. Okay, so moving along, we have a wall of text. I love walls of text. Nobody ever reads them. So let me break this down for you and unpack it. We do things like we're application and project advisors, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We're technical reviewers, and we'll talk about that too. We're a site visitor. Everybody loves to see us show up and look at their project. Sometimes it's a real stress thing for people, but we try and make that as pleasant as possible. And then we have the auditing function. Nobody likes those guys. Nobody. So they come and look at just basically the same as the guys that come and overlook your taxes from the government. But they're nice people, really. I don't do auditing, so there you go. Okay. So the Global Grant and Project Advisor is probably the most important, and that's to help you with your grant application. And when you look at that particular function, the biggest part of that is to help you get the grant. The biggest problem that most grants have and why they get rejected is because they're not within an area of focus. The Rotary Foundation only has 7 boxes, sort of like this, and your project has to fit within the requisites of that box. So some projects are written in such a way that they don't fit. And when you look at it, they can be rewritten fairly easily in most cases, so that they do fit within an area of focus. But unfortunately, there's some things that the Rotary Foundation just won't support. I mean, they're busy people, and we want to get our money involved, and it's the money of Rotarians such as yourselves in areas that will have the most impact in the society. So our basic area of focus is number 6, community economic development. And right now I'm proud to tell you that we're getting about 12% of the money that the Rotary Foundation gives away every year. The medical people get the vast big chunk of it because they have more projects going on everywhere. But we're up there and trying. I think we're number 3, so gives us something to strive for. So every grant needs a training component. We see lots of grants that don't have any training going on. And this is really, really important because, for example, if we're doing an agricultural project in community economic development, we were going to send some people a tractor to farm their fields and things. It doesn't do you any good to send a tractor without mechanics and spare parts and a training manual and people that can fix it and people to train you how to operate the tractor. So within the grant, if there's no training component, it'll get rejected as well. So we can help you put that together and give you an idea of how to do it. So sustainability, this is one of my favorite topics. And this is a slide that I borrowed from Phil Collins, and who's a professor of such things and spent a lot of time thinking about it. He was the former cadre director, basically my boss for a little while. Everybody thinks of sustainability as like what happens when the Rotary money is not there anymore, will the project keep going? But deeper than that, there are dimensions of sustainability. For example, you can look at the cultural part of a project. You can look at the ecology part of it, how it's organized. You can look at the strengths that are already existing within a community and use those to build on to make a Rotary Foundation sustainable, a Rotary Foundation project, excuse me, sustainable. So many times, the person who's organizing the grant has a good idea up here in their mind and has trouble expressing it on paper. And I look at some of those grants and phone the guy up and say, oh, and they're all excited to tell you all about their grant. And I'm going, okay, so everything you told me is not what's written down here. So I tie my computer to their computer and we rewrite it, typing away to get everything straightened around. And not everybody is an author. You have to use the language of the Rotary Foundation to start with. They will tell you about theory of change. They'll tell you about sustainability, community needs assessment. And not everybody realizes what those words mean when you're doing a global grant. So we need to put it into terms that the Rotary Foundation will understand, that clearly explain what's happening. And basically you need somebody that can write to do that. And you know, I do that once in a while. But if you want to read a really great writer, this lady is famous all over the world, top writer in all of India. And if you haven't read this lady's stuff, you should. It's excellent. Documentation. Needless to say, when you're putting a Rotary Foundation grant application together, there's a little bit of paperwork, like, you know, that many, you know, piles of the stuff. So we can help you organize that, get it all together. The main key things you'll need are community assessment, measurement and evaluation argument, sustainability argument, and show how you're going to do the project management. And we have experts for all of that stuff. The other thing is suggestions on equipment or resources. Lots of projects involve technical things, like a medical project, for example, could be sending an X-ray machine. You could be doing some sort of vocational training program that needs tools. We do revisions for the foundation to make sure that the project is feasible. So for example, I was looking at a project in Honduras where they're doing vocational training in about 7 schools, and a lot of that was welding. And way back in the galaxy far away, I used to teach welding to people, so you know, I'm pretty well up on what happens with that. So I was pleased to not only do the feasibility study on it, but actually go do the site visit. So that was neat to see their ideas in practice. So if there's equipment involved in any kind of project, we have a cadre person that can help you and advise you on what stuff works. Okay. One of the key things that we're working on in this respect is we want to support the local economy too. So if you're going to buy equipment, it's great if you can buy the equipment within the country. That supports the country's economy, but also you can get parts for it because it's made in the country. You can get people that can help you fix it if it breaks because it's made in the country, and off you go. When it's not available in the country, that's where you're going to have to convince the Rotary Foundation that nobody here makes this particular piece of equipment. We have to import it, and that makes it more difficult to show the foundation, okay, you've imported this piece of equipment. How are you going to make it work? How are you going to train people with it? And most importantly, who's repairing it and where you're going to get the parts for? So there's a lot to think about in that respect. And sometimes it's voltage conversions, like Canada runs on 120 volts AC at 60 cycles. And Malta, of all places, I think runs on 100 cycles. And strange, Japan actually has 2 electrical systems in the same island, which I found incredible. So we'll also help you with doing research on sustainability of a project to make arguments for it. Many times a global grant will come up and it's a great idea, and the foundation will require that some little thing. And one of the last things we were doing a project where we're going to do training of students and that kind of thing. And the foundation asked, like, well, how will the kids get to school? And we said, well, on the school bus. And then they wanted a letter from the school on school letterhead to say, yes, we had a bus, and yes, we'd pick up the kids, and yes, we're bringing them to school. And after that, we got the grant. So expect to get, you know, some detail of your grant examined very carefully, and what might look to you like a silly question, or that you know, you just go like, I don't know what to do with this. You know, that's a good time to call a cadre member that may have some good ideas to get around that. For example, the sewing machines. We had to be able to show that you could not buy a sewing machine in all of Honduras. So they were importing them. So then we had to show that, yes, you could get a sewing machine repaired in Honduras, and show them 5 places where that could happen. And then we found a sewing machine repair manual from the Brother Corporation in Spanish that showed you exactly how to repair it. So with all of those factors, yes, the grant got approved. It was not a problem. So we have to do some research sometimes to actually make that all happen. So one of the things we're doing is helping with that sustainability and helping to get it into an area of focus. So those are the main things. And Carl and I really like this slide. So you may have seen this somewhere before. So these are the things the Rotary Action Group can do for you. The cadre members are sort of where the rubber hits the road, you know, frontline people to help that happen. So when you look at all of the things that we're doing, those are the things we can help you with. And if you're having a problem with the grant and you're frustrated like mad and you're yelling and screaming and like, I'll never get this done, that's the time to chill out a little bit and call a cadre member, tell them your problem, and lots of times we can help. Not all the time, but sometimes we have some pretty different ideas that will get it all done. So basically, what do we help do within the Rotary Action Group for Community Economic Development? We eradicate poverty. So cadre members in RAGSED are experts in how to do that. I'm very proud to say that the whole of RAGSED started actually in my district, 5360. In Calgary, it was the idea of Steve Ricard, who's a member of the Calgary West Rotary Club in Calgary, where the next 2 years from now, in 2025, will be the international convention. So you can all come to Calgary and visit with Steve and say hello. Expecting lots of people. So we started with the idea that we were going to raise $1 million to fight poverty. And we have 53 clubs here, and we talked to a bunch of them, and they all said, "Oh, $1 million, good luck with that." So we said, no, $100,000 over 10 years. We're now in year 8 on that particular project, and we've hit the ball way out of the baseball park. We're just about $3 million US now. So if you think of $3 million in the hands of people of a loan of $50 to $100 to $200, the impact through that society is incredibly huge. And the interesting thing when you start one of these projects and you go to look at it a year or so later, you find that the people, and primarily single mothers, sort of introduce themselves looking at their shoes like, "Oh, yeah, I'm so-and-so." And when you come back a year later after they've been in business for a year and have something that's flourishing and their kids now can go to school because they have some money coming in, they'll look you right in the eye and say, "This is me, I'm a businesswoman and this is my business." And yeah, it's an amazing transformation, and it's sustainable too. So on our website, this is our guidebook for building sustainable microfinance projects and programs. We developed this a couple of years back and presented it at the World Conference in Hamburg. It's a step-by-step handbook or manual that will show you exactly how to do a microfinance program, and some of the other things are in there as well, savings groups and small business trust groups, those kinds of things. It's available on our website, which is www.ragsed.org, and it's really a good read. One of the things we also do is micro enterprises, and we help with those, and we're called small and medium-sized businesses, or SMEs. We looked at the research behind it and said, well, we can have somebody start a business from scratch with nothing, and it takes a little while to get the business going, and we're employing only one person. But if we took a small business that was already established and capitalized it, because most small businesses are undercapitalized, what could they do with the money? In one case, we gave $5,000 to a business that was making little ceramic stoves, and that's now grown to the point where the guy exports to 3 other countries. A huge success. So, there we go. Little glitch there. So these are some examples of some of the projects you see going, and they're very, very small businesses. One lady is making little tortilla things that I bought one and ate it. Other ladies are doing dress design. And all of this is happening in the middle of nowhere. This happened right after the earthquake in Juchitán in Mexico. So we're helping to get some of the businesses restarted there. So there's some examples of them: tortilla making, textiles and clothing, dresses, and baptismal clothes. So this is me. I'll leave that up there for a couple of seconds. If you need a cadre member anywhere, send us a note to RAGSED, or my email's there as well, walligardnerrotary@gmail.com. We're on WhatsApp, and we also speak Spanish, but not Hindi or Punjabi, but we'll work on something. There you go. Okay, so that's me, and I'll be pleased to answer any questions that you might have and put them in the chat, and we'll deal with that when we're in the session to do that. All right, let's see if I can unshare my screen. I might need some help with that. Yeah, can you push the button to unshare me? There, thank you.
Thank you very much, Wally. Very informative. So that brings us to the end, and that's now we are in the last part of this webinar. And if you have any questions or queries, please do write to us. Gomati has given you all our email address, that is dakshinpata@ragsit.org. All of you might be wondering what is Dakshinpata. Okay, it's the chapter for, I would say it's a group of chapters for the South Asia. And so, as Margaret mentioned and Jim mentioned, we have India chapter right now, and we have done a few pilots, and we're trying to expand. And the Dakshin Pata, group would involve Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Burma, Maldives, and India. So feel free to reach out to us and ask us any questions. We are here to help you all and also help you in the project. So there are several projects happening in these places. You can participate in those projects, and we would love help. So because there's a lot to be done. It never ends. So, and Wally's here, and we have a lot of cadre members, as Wally mentioned, who are extremely good at what they do, and at the same time, very, very welcoming and helping. So if you have a project, reach out. And I now move the spotlight to Vachan, our co-host.
Q&A, I think we have questions, Rakesh. I see Neeraj has a question.
Yes, Neeraj.
Hi. The question I have is, for example, I have a lady in Nagaland. She is doing the processing of TVs over there, and she needs some machinery. For example, the cost of the project is, let's say, $12,000. So how does that get financed by Rexit?
You're talking about how does it get financed?
Yeah. How it does RAG CED comes into play into the whole thing? I mean, do we go to the global grant thing, or do we go to? I mean, how do we raise the fund? Let me put it like that.
Sure.
Oh,
I can give you a
Bollywood.
response to that. Sure. First of all, we have to decide how much money it is. Okay, that's the key factor. If you're going to do a Rotary Foundation grant, you need to have a minimum of $30,000 US dollars. Okay, so if this lady needs machinery that's worth more than that, more than $30,000, then that's a global grant. If it's under $30,000, like you're looking at buying a machine that's maybe $5,000 or $6,000, you're better to do that with district funds or somebody else's district funds. Remember, you can apply to your district to get district designated funds, but you can also apply to other people's districts. So we've done that as well. So ask her how much money she needs, first of all, and that would be the first thing. The next thing I would stress is, can the machinery be bought locally? Is there somebody to fix it? Can we do a training session? Because every grant, if it's going to be over $30,000, has to have a training component. But it's also a good idea to have that as well, because it's no good giving her a brand new machine if there's nobody around to fix it. The electricity doesn't work, or there's no training given on how to operate the machine. We had a bakery, for example, in our community here that started up. The lady bought this really fancy bakery making croissant machine from France with no idea how to use it. Then she couldn't open her business for 6 months because she had to go take the training course on how to learn how to use the machinery that she just bought. So there's lots of things to consider, but primarily is how much money it's going to take, and that will then get you down to what kind of grant you need to get it off the ground. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Wally. It's an existing business. She wants to mechanize her operations, actually, of drying the leaves and and then packing it up properly and things like that. So she already has everything in place, but she needs the money for that. and which is about say about $10,000-12,000. That's all they need, you know. But the problem is that going to the DDF is a big problem actually, you know. Because DDF normally in a district they already have earmarked, or they give it to the local people there. So that's a big issue actually over there. So I've been trying to raise funds for her. So this how we do that out. That is like this. We have a lot of projects, especially the library projects with the women and women empowerment, who needs about $10,000, $5,000, like that actually.
Sure. Okay. So you could put all of that together.
Yeah.
If it's only $10,000 for one woman and 15 or somebody else for somebody else, put them together in a co-op. Now you've got a grant for enough to actually qualify for a global grant.
Yeah.
Okay. Like individually, they wouldn't qualify, but if they were a co-op of women together working, then you would. And that has some advantages as well, because I'll tell you a story about that. There was a guy that got a microfinance loan to start a tire repair. You get a flat tire in your car, he would fix it. His daughter then started a cafe across the road and sold coffee and cookies and stuff to truck drivers. So while you're in there waiting for your tire to get fixed, you can go for a coffee, and the two businesses work together. So if you had a group of women, like 10 of them, for example, they can then cross, reference each other and say, oh, I know somebody that does that. You can get your tires fixed here and you can get a cookie at the same time. And all of those people are getting financed. So that's something to look at as well. And it works fairly successfully. But remember too, if you're not getting the money out of your district, apply to somebody else's district.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I must say one thing. The thing is, we are doing something similar, what Wally just mentioned. We are doing something similar with a few, businesses. So you can have this business join in as well, because we're trying to raise funds for them right now. And that was a part of the Women Empowerment Festival that I was talking to you about, that happened a few months earlier this year. So we can have this combined there. That'll be a great help for that lady. And we can always rope in, experts from different domains who specialize in those as well. So, so for everyone else, if you do not have any questions, we'll have this session ended, and for the last presentation, not presentation, I would say for the ending of this, I would suggest Vachan to come in. And okay, Srihari has raised his hand. Srihari, could you just type your question here so that we kind of stick to the time? And
let me tell you one thing, baby, aside that. If it is meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Like that. One go. Listen.
yes, Vachan, over to you. I'm not sure. Srihari, you could type your question here. We'll have that answered.
Okay. Good evening, good morning to our friends across the sea. I think we had a great session today on a topic that's very close to our hearts and relevant to all the Rotarians, economic and community development. The session today gave us an opportunity to understand the profound impact we can have by donating our expertise and skills to uplift the needy. In our interconnected world, economic and community development is not just a lofty goal, it is a shared responsibility. It is a responsibility that Rotary has shouldered with great commitment, working tirelessly to make a difference in the lives of those less fortunate. However, traditional philanthropy is only a part of the equation. What truly sets Rotary apart is its recognition of the transformative power of expertise and skills. It really preaches the saying, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, it will feed him for a lifetime. As Rotarians, we possess a wealth of skills that we can instrumental in economic community development, from project management and leadership to communication and problem solving. By sharing these skills, we not only address immediate needs, but also nurture the capacity of communities to take charge of their own destinies. I thank the speakers, past Assistant Governor Margaret Williamson, Carter Valley Gardiner, for being present with us and motivating and educating us, and Chair PDG Carl Trelivan for sharing the video with his message and talking about what RACSET does for the community across the world. I hope the participants are better equipped to identify projects that can be taken up by individuals and clubs for a better society. The team is more than willing to help Rotarians with any information that they require. Please do make the best use of it. And I thank Gomati and Rakesh personally for organizing this event today. Thank you.
Thank you, Vachan. Thank you. And before we end this, there's a question that has come from Fidel Malbos. So, well, with regards to, I'll answer both these questions. So, I'll answer one question and I'll have the other to Wally. So, with regards to learning, this tremendous learning that we have, and all those things are documented and passed on for the next project. So, you could visit our website and you'll see a lot of these things mentioned there, and you kind of it's a rich source of knowledge and learnings, I would say. And if you have any questions beyond the questions that you've already asked, this is for everybody. I would request you all to reach out to us. We have our email address given to you all, dakshin@ragsit.org. If you want to reach out to Ragsit directly, you could have Ragsit Global. You could also reach us at info@ragsit.org, and we'll have your questions answered. So the next question, this is to Wally. Do you charge interest when we fund micro enterprise?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and we normally do. It depends on the context, I guess would be the best way to explain that. When you look at some countries, the interest rate will be higher, and we can be charging as much as 20% per year. And that sounds like a lot, but if you own a MasterCard or a Visa, that's basically what you're getting charged and more on your money that you have there. People think it's a lot, but in some contexts, for example, in the Philippines, are what they call 4 for 5 men, where you buy bananas, for example, for $4 in the morning, but at the end of the day, when you sell them all, you have to pay back $5, which is 20% interest per day. So depending on the context, there's also some interesting cases where in some cultures, you're not allowed to charge interest because it's against a religious principle. And that gets to be very, very challenging to start microfinance projects, but it has been done. One of the things that we find many times is that a club or a group of clubs in a district is interested in doing a particular kind of project. And if you look on our RAGSED site, you'll find past projects that have been done with the grant numbers there. And we can sometimes connect you with another club that's done that in a different country. For example, when I'm working in Mexico, there's a project that some club is proposing. I'll say, oh, wait a minute. These guys in Guatemala did a project exactly like that. And you connect the two people together, and then they can have somebody directly to talk to about how they organized the project, what the problems were, how they overcame the problems, and what the final impact on the society was at the end of the day. So check the website first to see if we've got anything on there already, and then if you don't, send us a note at our email contact, and we'll see what we can find you.
And to also add a little more to what Wally said, I've seen a few syndicates in India where they kind of make, they form a syndicate of microfinancing and they kind of don't charge interest there. So those are that's exactly what Wally meant, I guess, because that depends on place to place whether an interest is charged, and if it's interest, it varies from place to place for various reasons. So you might want to check before you involve yourself in that. Well then, guys, thank you very much for participating today. It was wonderful. Thanks very much to all the speakers. I know that there would be more questions, so please do direct those questions to us via email or reach out to us on WhatsApp. You have our numbers right now, and we would be glad to speak and engage with you all. Please do join the chapters that we have discussed, and please do join the India chapter if you're in India, and if you're in Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, or anywhere else. Please do reach out to us, and we'll connect you. We don't have a formal chapter yet in those countries, but we have something that's for South Asia, so you can participate in that. And if you're from Philippines, I know that there are a few from Philippines. Do reach out to us again, because we can connect you with the Philippines chapter. The Philippines chapter is promising, and there's a lot happening there as well. So you can always be a part of the RAGFIT family anytime. So please do reach out. We're looking forward to speak to you. Wonderful evening to you all in South Asia, and wonderful morning and good day to all in the other countries. So we are signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rakesh.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Jim,
Rakesh.
Margaret, Wally.
Thank you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you so much for doing this. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
It was excellent.
Thank you, Neeraj.
My first one today, it was very, very impressive. And we had 66 members. We had 66 participants today.
Wow. Wonderful.
And this is because of all our partner clubs. We have about 18 clubs who partnered with us for this particular event. So this has been our trend since the first webinar. Of course, yes.
Awesome. Good work, Gomati, and nice seeing you, Rakesh. And everybody else too, for the first time.
Yeah. I think it was good.
You know, we had the DRR of our district 3011. She was there, Kirti Malhotra. I've been promoting it with all the Rotractors. In fact, that is a very big asset for all of us.
Yes, Rotractors are a great asset, and it's very important to have them on board.
So,
and we have had Avinash, who is a non-Rotarian but has been very close with the Rotary Circle. And Avinash had taken me and Gomati to a tribal settlement, which has multiple hamlets during my last visit in India. And welcome, Avinash, and thanks for joining in. And
thanks, Rakeshji.
Thanks the team. And we'll definitely do great projects.
Thank
you for joining.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful.
I also see Viswajit.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, Jim.
Bye, guys. It was good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining.
Rossi Burt, are you still here with us? Okay.
Thanks, Gomati.
Thanks, Avinash. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Vishwajit, hi.
I
never noticed.
I just saw him. I think he's locked out. No, he's still there. Samir. He's on. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's very well organized.
Thank you, Samir. Thank you for your support.
Yeah. Always there.
Thank you.
Well, Gomati,
Okay. I think we should end the session. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Rakesh.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Avinash.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Avinash. Take care.
Bye, Rakeshji. It was a nice session.
Thank you.
Very informative.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, then I'm going to end the session.